Hello and welcome to a new Silly Point episode. We are carrying on with the IPL 2021 coverage. I'm going ahead with our team previews. So today we will discuss KKR and Kings 11 Punjab or Punjab
Punjab,
Kings, whatever the new
Punjab
name is.
Kings, Punjab Kings. Yeah, let's see if a new name will bring them some luck.
Yeah. Um, so I mean, again, mid table finishes last year.
Yeah,
Both of them narrowly missed out on the playoffs. I think
yeah,
KKR missed out on net run rate. So
yeah,
we'll assess their chances, how they've done in
yeah,
the auctions, predicted 11s, the X factor players, and where we think they'll eventually finish in the table.
yeah.
G here with me as always. So should we start with Kings 11 or
Yeah.
Punjab? Sorry, I'll keep messing this up.
Punjab. That's fine. You can call them. I guess you can call them whatever you want. Punjab Kings.
Punjab
Um,
Kings.
Punjab Kings. Yeah. I
I think
mean,
it'll be very straightforward batting
I
lineup.
completely agree. In terms of auctions, when we had our previous episode and we talked about the IPL auctions, we definitely said that Punjab had the best auction,
Yeah,
and I think that's still valid. Getting David Milan at base price, getting
yeah,
someone like Fabian Allen at his base price as well was a
yeah,
pretty good buy. We talked about Jai Richardson and Riley Meredith as well,
yeah,
both strong Australian bowlers. Obviously, they overpaid for them,
yeah,
but then equally, we said, okay, David Malan going at base price was a pretty good steal. So
yeah,
the balance for Kings 11 Kings 11, Punjab Kings
yeah,
was pretty good. Um,
yeah,
Looking at their batting, pretty straightforward, right? So we
yeah,
go with KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal to open.
yeah. Chris Gale at three,
Chris Gale at three,
Nicholas Pooran at four.
Nicholas Pooran at four. I don't think that anything's going to change there.
Yeah,
Um, and then probably someone like a
mm,
Deepak Huda at five.
yeah. So Mandeep Singh. No,
Oh yes, fair enough. Mandeep
yeah,
Singh. I think probably Mandeep Singh at five then.
yeah. Mandeep Singh
Um,
at five. Sarfraz Khan. Do you think he'll play?
well, I was going to say that
Yeah,
I really think that they need six bowling options.
yeah,
They can't do with five, and
yeah.
none of the top five actually bowl.
Gale.
So then yeah, they've
Chris
probably
Gale
got
does to a certain extent, but yeah,
I think they've got to go with an overseas all rounder. So they've got two options. They've got Hendricks,
yeah,
right? They've got Moises Hendricks, and they've got Fabian Allen.
yeah,
Yeah, so those are two pretty decent options to bat at six. And personally, I'd go with Hendricks,
yeah,
given that he's got recent experience of being part of a good BBL team in the Sydney
yeah,
Sixers, and he captains them as well.
yeah.
And he's a decent bat, so I'd go with Hendricks at six.
And Reeks at six,
Yeah,
and then
and then I'm going to go with a bit of a offbeat option here. I'm going to go with Jalat Saxena at number seven. I think I
okay.
mentioned this in the IPL. He's a really, really good customer. Obviously, he's pretty experienced. He's
Customer.
34. Sorry.
Customer.
Yeah, he's a pretty experienced customer. It's a way of saying things. Um, but yeah, he's been around the blocks. He's played a
Yeah.
lot and a lot of domestic cricket. And time and again, guys like Harbhajan Singh have questioned why hasn't he been picked for the India team. I'd
Yeah.
like to tell him it's because of him and R. Ashwin. Really that he wouldn't be picked. But I think that was another smart piece of uh,
Yeah.
auction purchasing by Kings 11. He's a good off spinner. He can hit a long ball as well. So I'd go with Jalat Saxena at seven.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. And then eight, you have. I mean, the bowling is pretty strong.
yeah.
So they'll go with what? Jordan, Richardson,
Well,
Bishnoi, and
they've
all
already
right.
played. They're already playing three overseas players, right? Because we picked Gale, Puran, and Henry,
Hendricks. Oh yeah, yeah.
right? So they can only pick one
And
new
Jared Richardson
replacement.
will be that player
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
think Jai Richardson should be that bowler, right?
Yeah.
Jai Richardson should be that bowler.
Obviously, it has to
Over,
be. They paid so much for him, so he
yeah,
has to be.
true, true, true. And he's a decent bat as well. He can swing
Yeah.
the bat. So,
So he'll be
um,
at eight.
well, I was going to say Ravi Bishnoi at eight
Yeah.
because Ravi Bishnoi is classed as an all-rounder. Hasn't had much of an opportunity with the bat in
Yeah.
the previous IPL. But Bishnoi at eight with Jai Richardson at nine, um,
Shami at 10.
Shami at 10, and then obviously Ashdeep Singh at 11.
Yeah.
He did really well in the
Yeah.
previous IPL, and he gives you that left arm angle. So
Yeah.
again, I think strong. decent team, especially the batting. We
Yeah.
know all about the batting, and good replacements
Yeah.
in David Malan, Sarfraz Khan. Shah Rukh Khan is another good pick.
Yeah.
He did really well in the domestic T20 tournament in
Yeah.
India. Um,
Chris
you've got
Jordan, Riley Meredith in the
yeah,
bowling.
yeah, Chris Jordan, Riley Meredith. You've got a left armer called Saurabh Kumar, who's also a good slow left arm
Yeah.
bowler, another all rounder. So good backups as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to recap, KL Rahul, Mayank Agarwal, Chris Gale, um,
Nicholas
Nicholas
Puran,
Puran,
Mandeep
Mandeep
Singh.
Singh, Hendricks, Jalat Saxena, Ravi Bishnoi, um, Jai Richardson, Mohammad Shami, and Ashdeep Singh.
Yeah. Yeah. A very, very strong, well balanced 11.
Yeah, yeah,
So who do you
yeah.
think is going to be the top run scorer?
Chris Gale.
Yeah, I would have one of Gale or Rahul. I'll go KL Rahul again.
Okay, you're
I
going to go
think
with KL
he's,
Rahul.
he's at an indifferent. I mean, he's got 100 in recent ODI, but
Yeah, yeah,
I think overall he's had a pretty bad, white ball series against England.
yeah.
So I think this is the time for him to come back to his comfort zone, and
Fair enough.
so I'll go KL Rahul and then top wicket taker.
Um, I'm going to go with Shami.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think Sharma
can't
was
look beyond him
probably
really.
yeah. I mean, Ravi Bishnoi did really well. I
Yeah,
don't know, maybe again another season under his belt,
yeah,
he might come good again. So I'll go with Ravi Bishnoi.
yeah.
X factor.
X factor for me is going to be Jalat Saxena. I've backed him to the hilt. I've said so much.
Yeah,
I've given him a starting position, so I think he's going to be my X factor
yeah.
player.
I'll be boring. X factor has to be Chris Gale. I mean,
Chris Gale or Puran.
yeah, one of the two. But yeah, I think Chris Gale. I think he'll just again have like one or two innings where he'll score 140 balls and then win
Yeah,
the
yeah.
game.
I mean, you could say that Chris Gale and Nicholas Puran are like legends. They're
Yeah,
fantastic batsmen. You don't want to really
yeah,
call them X factors, right? Because they're really good. They're not going to like
yeah.
score in one or two games. They're going to score consistently and score at
Consistently.
high strike rates. So
True.
yeah.
True.
And sorry, one thing I forgot to mention in this squad is you've also got Murugan Ashwin, who's another
Yeah.
leg spinner who did really well for them in the previous IPL. So maybe they could swap out Bishnoi and Ashwin. I think
Yeah.
Ashwin did better than Bishnoi.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's semantics, right? They could they
Yeah.
could they could also decide that they want to play three spinners, so they could drop Ashdeep Singh and play
Yeah.
Ashwin. You know,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Do you
fair
think
enough.
they'll
So,
finish?
I think they've got a good chance to finish in the top four. I'm going to say that they'll be in the top four.
Yeah. I'll go 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I'll
on that cusp.
yeah. I think they'll squeeze into the top four.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think this time they will end up in there. Hopefully, if they
Yeah.
don't have any more games that cause heart attacks to people, and they actually just end up freaking winning games right at the start of the tournament, they'll be fine.
Yeah. One or two umpiring decisions go their way as well. Run
Yeah,
outs.
true.
Should we move on to KKR?
Yes. So KKR, yeah, I think they had,
Yeah.
you know, they haven't changed their team much, have they?
No, they haven't. And they really didn't need to. I mean, on paper, they had one of the strongest squads. I think you had them
Yeah.
as favorites
Well,
last time.
that's the thing, right? It's on paper.
Yeah.
I've realized with KKR that they're very, very inconsistent.
Yeah. I
They might
think,
have the best team on paper, but seldomly do they come together and play as a team.
yeah, I agree. I agree. So they're planning that Shubman Gill will open. I think he's kind of proved himself now
Yeah.
after. Um, but and then who else you go? Who would open with him? I mean, they've got a lot of good middle order options. They'll have to move one of those.
Well, I was going to
Maybe
say
DK.
you've got Rahul Tripathi, you've got
Yeah.
Nitish Rana, you've got Rinku Singh. So you've really got a few options there, right?
Yeah.
But I
I mean,
think I'd go with.
Darana's usually 3 and 4, right? He's an
Yeah,
opener.
I mean he started opening in the previous IPL
Yeah.
towards the end, just to score some runs in the power play.
Yeah.
So I think yeah, I'd go with Shubman Gill and Nitish Rana, and then to keep kind of the left-right combination going,
Yeah.
followed by Rahul Tripathi at three,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Tripathi at
and then basically you've got your middle order 4, 5, 6, and for me that's I know the players, they can then pick their order and how they want to bat.
yeah.
You've got Shakib, you've got Morgan, and you've got Andre Russell,
Yeah.
right?
And Dinesh Karthik.
Oh yeah, and then Dinesh Karthik. I forgot about Dinesh Karthik.
The
That's a good
ex-captain.
one. Well, ex-captain, yeah.
Yeah,
Morgan obviously is going to captain, but yeah, I
yeah,
think that's a pretty strong, that's a pretty strong middle order. And then
yeah,
yeah, Dinesh Karthik can bat at seven if he wants to, or they
yeah.
can move around their players. I think that's the advantage with KKR is that they've got a very flexible middle order.
Yeah, but it's very is a disadvantage at times as well because there'll always be criticism. Why didn't Russell come at 4 when he's
Yeah,
coming at 6?
exactly,
Why didn't
exactly.
Morgan come at
Yeah, well,
4?
I'd like to think that the third ODI between India and England, that kind of gives you a flavor as to why these players are held towards the end. So
Yeah,
Rishabh Pant and Hardik Pandya were going all guns blazing. They were bound to get out, right?
yeah,
The longer they stay out there, there's a higher chance of them
yeah,
getting out, if you know
exactly.
what I mean, right?
Yeah,
So I think that's the other strategy side that a
yeah,
team like KKR does, or even Mumbai Indians, right? They'd like to
yeah,
hold Krunal, Hardik, Pollard towards the end if they can, so
yeah,
that there's less chance of them getting out and they can maximize the balls at the end. So,
yeah. And
uh,
then I mean, so that's three foreign players gone, and then well, the fourth has to be Sunil Narayan then, right?
well,
At 8.
I was not going to have Sunil Narayan in my team at all
Really?
because apart, well, don't you need an experienced medium pacer in KKR because they don't have too many experienced Indian bowlers,
Yeah.
Indian fast bowlers. So
So
I
he's like
think,
one of Lockie or Pat
yeah,
Cummins.
yeah, I mean that for me is a no-brainer, right? So I'd go with Lockie Ferguson because he's the more attacking option.
Yeah.
He's the
He
more
did well
attacking.
when he started playing. Cummins
Yeah,
had a really poor IPL last year,
true,
so
true, true. Yeah. I mean, to
so
be honest, the spin department, at least one part of the spin department, is more than taken care of. Shakib, you can bank on him to bowl 4 overs,
yeah, true.
right?
I mean, they might drop Shakib and play Narayan then, right? So
Well, the other thing I was going to say was Shakib has recently spoken out against the Bangladesh Cricket Board, and there is a chance that he might not get an NOC to play in the IPL.
yeah,
In which case, Sunil Narayan can easily replace Shakib Al Hassan, bat
yeah,
at that kind of number four position, and take on the spinners.
yeah, yeah. So that's so well, the number 7 is fine, and then number 8 you'd have um
Lucky, right?
well Lucky for yeah, but he's like a tail ender, right?
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
Well, you
Uh,
wouldn't play Harbhajan Singh, would you?
I not to start with because you've
Yeah,
also got to play Varun Chakravarti,
yeah,
right? So
okay,
you've got Varun Chakravarti, you've got Shakib slash Sunil Narayan. Um, yeah, maybe there is an opportunity for him to start, for Harbhajan Singh to start.
yeah,
Yeah, KKR could play three spinners, so they could play Harbhajan, Varun Chakravarti, and Shakib slash Narayan,
okay,
and
yeah,
then the three medium pacers would be Lockie Ferguson, Prasidh Krishna, and Andre Russell.
and there are some, no, but they still have one more player left, right?
No, that's it, right? That's
So wait,
that's
so
the
who do
team.
you have it? So you 8, you have what? Lucky
Harbhajan Singh,
Ferguson, Harbhajan Singh at 8,
yeah,
Krishna at
Lockie
9,
and
Ferguson at 10.
Varun Chakravarti at 11.
Oh yeah, Chakrabarti. Okay, yeah,
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 yeah. Because you have to play Varun Chakravarti, right? He did so well in the
yeah,
previous IPL.
yeah,
And Harbhajan Singh, obviously, he's again, you can bowl him in the power play.
yeah, yeah, true.
So,
And
so
then they have decent backup options as well. In the pace,
yeah,
obviously, last year there was a lot of talk about Shivam Mavi and
Kamlesh
Nagarkoti.
Nagarkoti. Yeah.
Who
So
did
good
okay,
backup.
yeah. Sandeep Warrior also they have
Yes,
another
yes.
backup option.
They've got some
Um,
decent spin options. Obviously, Kuldeep Yadav, all
yeah,
said and done, he is still, he still has a chance to come again. So he might get a
yeah,
couple of games, and if he shows some spark in that, yes, an
yeah.
opportunity to
And
start.
Ben Cutting for Russell again,
Ben
decent.
Cutting for Russell is also Ben Cutting is quite a value
Yeah,
value player if you like. He was pretty cheap and
yeah.
he can hit the long ball.
And
They've
then
also got Pavan Negi, who's a
yeah.
slow left arm player. They've
Pat
got
Cummins, of
Pat
course.
Cummins, obviously, we're missing him. So some good options. They've got an all-rounder by the name of Venkatesh Iyer, who's done well in domestic cricket
Yeah,
as well. So, some options there. Uh, Again, on paper, having Owen Morgan, Andre Russell, Lockie Ferguson, Shakib, they look like such a strong team. Question
yeah.
is whether they can gel together or not. And who do
Yeah.
you think will be their highest run scorer, wicket taker?
It's really tough with them because they have such an inconsistent batting lineup. I mean,
Yeah,
Galo's good, but he didn't play. His strike rate is an issue. I mean,
yeah,
but you
true.
can't look beyond him because you have to be someone in the top 3. Morgan maybe, but I just don't know. He might just play at
He's
6 and
not
7 at times, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly. He's not going to bat up the order. So yeah, even I'm going to go with Gill.
yeah. And
Just
then I,
not in terms of impact, but just scoring the highest
yeah.
number of runs by virtue of him opening the batting.
Yeah. Highest wicket taker, I'd go with Varun Chakravarti.
Yeah, same.
Spinner.
Spinner, yeah, I'll go with Varun Chakravarti as well.
Okay.
And X Factor player.
Okay, let's not pick Russell, please.
Yeah,
That's
let's not.
too.
Again, Russell is no longer an X Factor player, if you know what I mean. I mean, you expect him to,
Yeah.
to sparkle with the bat, with the ball in the field in every way possible, with his hair, the
Yeah.
shoes. So I let's not pick players that we know are going to perform or that will perform in some department.
Yeah. Well, then Shakib can't be picked. I would have gone with Shakib. Lockie Ferguson. I think
Yeah,
he's
Lockie. Fair
he
enough.
did really well when he played last year. I think
Yeah,
he's got the impact to have really good spells, not just take wickets but also not concede runs.
yeah, true.
So I go with Lockie.
I'm going to go with Harbhajan Singh. I mean, I
Oh,
thought that was a pretty shrewd piece of business
yeah.
by KKR just to have his experience in there. Like I
Yeah.
said, even if he doesn't take wickets, right, he
Yeah.
restricts his economy in the IPL across all years. I think it's something like 6.5, which is absolutely ridiculous for a spinner,
Yeah.
especially a finger spinner like him. He doesn't have any gimmicks. No
Yeah.
dusras. No finger spin, no chucking, all of that. He's a simple, straightforward off
Well, he did
spinner.
have some checking
Oh
issues,
yeah,
but
yeah. I mean, early in his career, but not
yeah.
not now. Unlike Sunil Narayan, who's always flirting with
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I think he was a really good buy, and again, he can have that impact, especially in the power play. I think for
Yeah.
KKR,
And he can get handy runs low down the
and he
order
runs.
also.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
can hit the long ball as well. So yeah,
So
I think yeah, Harbhajan Singh will
where
be a
where
good
do you
one.
think they'll finish?
I know last year I had called them to win the IPL, but with similar batch of players with kind of similar inconsistency, especially in their top order. Their bowling not having a good international Indian bowler or international, even spinners. Spinners actually they're good in, but their fast bowling, Indian fast bowling is something to, that's left something to be desired. So I'd probably go mid table, five
Yeah.
six. I don't see them coming in the top four.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I don't see them coming in the top four. I think
Yeah, I
Punjab,
think
in my
it's
opinion,
yeah.
have a better chance.
Yeah, I think on
Obviously,
consistency, I think inconsistency will probably hammer them, and I think I think from our previous episodes, I think number 7 was the one start which is open. Probably I'd have to move Rajasthan down to 7 and then
yeah,
KKR to 6.
6. Yeah, yeah. Well, then you still got to push one team out from last year's top four.
Oh, that I know. That I'll come to when we discuss those teams.
Okay, I know which team. I know which
That's
team.
very.
Is it the team that you said will win the IPL last year?
No, it's not actually.
Okay, okay, fair enough. Then we'll come to it in our in our
Yeah.
in our future episodes.
All right. Okay, so that's our episode.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Let us know if you agree. Have we been too harsh on KKR and Shah Rukh Khan? The owner Shah Rukh Khan, not the player.
Yeah, not the player. The player Shah Rukh Khan is in Punjab Kings.
Let us know what you think. Do you think both of these teams have what it takes to make it to the top 4, or do you think similar to us that they'll be there or thereabouts, but probably not make it at the end?
Yeah, yeah. So, sorry, I'm currently saying that Kings 11 will. So I've
Yeah.
got to think about which team I want to push out.
All right. So thanks for watching. As always, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
Thank you.